Hey there, CIC listeners. Welcome to episode number 39, part 2 of our review of The World Is Not Enough. This one ran long, as these Bond episodes tend to do, so we thought we'd split it in two so you all could take a nap in between and be fully focused and refreshed for the second half of this wonderful film. And with that, take it away, Mr. Brosnan.
Beg your pardon, forgot to knock.
Welcome to the CIC, initiating security clearance.
Who are you?
Bond. James Bond.
Pussy galore.
Felix Leiter.
His name's Jaws. He kills people.
And Stavro Blofeld.
Identity confirmed.
Now, pay attention, 007.
Welcome to Central Intelligence Cinema, a podcast dedicated to spy movies and secret agent pop culture.
Bond, what do you think you're doing?
Keeping the British hand up, sir.
You amuse me, Mr. Bond.
Do you expect me to talk?
Sorry, old man. Section 26, paragraph 5. Need to know. Sure you understand.
Goodbye, Mr. Bond.
Recording from an undisclosed caviar factory somewhere near the Caspian Sea, it's Central Intelligence Cinema Podcast. I'm Ben Esslinger, and with me, as should always be the case, my main man, Jason Greenberg.
Hey, Ben. How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Oh, living the dream.
Living the dream in the brand new
Undisclosed location. Yes, it's very shiny, very fancy.
Very fancy.
It's fantastic. I can't wait until it becomes just a regular undisclosed location and we start dreaming of what the next one's going to be like.
Yeah, it'll get dusty and old sooner than later.
I've got my eye on a little island that's sitting out in front of England right now with a couple of levels underneath it. Seems more Bond layer-y than anything else, but,
yes.
seems, a little more on brand. I don't know.
At least we're back in a basement again.
Well, this is true.
Yet another basement.
Well, we all know that everything bad happens in basements.
That's right.
In James Bond movies.
Or bathrooms.
Or bathrooms. Well, that's just me personally. But definitely basements for Bond, which is a great way to segue into where we are today.
Indeed.
The bottom end of the world is not enough. And let me tell you, in a movie with lots of bottom ends worth looking at, I'm pretty glad we're almost done looking at this one.
There's a couple of good bottom ends to look at in this movie.
There absolutely were.
I mean, Pierce's twite.
I wasn't really looking at his. I'm going to take your word for it on that one. But yeah, sure, why not?
Well, I felt like zagging instead of zigging today.
Okay, well, that's what we love about the CIC here. We like to do things a little bit differently than everybody else.
That's right.
And, this probably isn't as new as it was before, but, we've come to the realization that sometimes when we get a little more wordy than we probably need to be, usually in conjunction with something involving Mr. James Bond.
Indeed. A little talky.
Yeah, a little talky. So, we've kind of decided on some of these longer ones to cut them down a little bit, put them into 2 episodes rather than 1 episode, so you don't have to listen to us prattle on for 3 hours and 85 minutes, which, yes, I realize would actually be 4 hours and 25 minutes, but I'm not a mathematician, and I don't play one on TV.
Indeed.
And so that was the case with The World Was Not Enough. Hopefully you just finished listening to part 1 of this sparkling review that we're running through.
Indeed.
And have joined us here for part 2, where we're going to pick up right on immediately. So, when last we left you, James Bond and Christmas Jones had just failed to defuse a bomb, which blew on purpose, but not everyone knows that. Which blew up a big chunk of Elektra's pipeline, while Elektra, back in the safety of her headquarters, along with M and the rest of M's team, were all like, "Oh no, James Bond is dead." And they were all very sad. And then Elektra's like, "No, haha, I'm the bad guy. I wanted it to blow up. I'm so evil and twisted, I don't even care because I got millions. I can fix that shit." And so she tells M that, hey, you know what, M? I'm the bad guy. And it's all because of you leaving me hanging out to dry with my dad. Not blaming my dad. Why not? Because I killed him already. So off you go for whatever your final dispensation will be. Take her away, a la Darth Vader. And we get to where we are now. We kick back from that scene to Christmas Jones and Bond, who are actually not dead.
Not dead at all.
Not dead. Surprise, surprise.
They're finding their way out of one end of a pipeline.
Correct. Not moving at 70 miles an hour.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Well, they were able to successfully slow down by jumping out of a 70 mile per hour moving maintenance rig inside the pipeline.
James Bond, as we discussed in the last episode, we've kind of come to the conclusion that Pierce Brosnan is not the smart Bond.
No.
So he was just too dumb to realize physics don't apply to him. And
yet, no road rash.
No road rash.
Neither one of them. They're just fine.
It's like they have bulletproof skin.
They had a little bit of like grease,
there was some
little black grease.
Little schmutz. They had a little schmutz that your bubby would come over and lick her hands and wipe that off.
But aside from that,
other than that, no worse for the wear.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So they get out of the busted up, blown up pipeline out there. Christmas is a little pissed off because she's like, I could have defused the bomb. And Bond's like, I didn't want you to defuse the bomb. Now they think we're dead. I'm paraphrasing. Because now everyone thinks they blew up, which was clearly what Elektra was aiming for. So he's like, now we kind of have the element of surprise. He then explains to her that they attacked their own line to explain away the stolen plutonium and to make it look like the terrorists did it. Right? Christmas then goes out to point for the viewer, and maybe James, because we have established not the smartest Bond, that the amount of plutonium they have wouldn't be enough to make a nuclear bomb with what they have. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, and she's like, well, why would they go to this length just to get this small amount of plutonium? And again, Pierce is like, well, you're the nuclear physicist. You tell me.
Right.
And then we get the best exchange.
Oh, absolutely. The best exchange of the movie.
But the world's greatest terrorist running around with 6 kilos of weapons-grade plutonium can't be good. I have to get it back, or somebody's going to have my ass.
First things first.
Times the line so well. It's like, first things first. And
he almost does a double take
right
down below.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, you blink and you miss it, right? Because he plays it off so subtly, but I'm just like, you dirty old bastard.
It is. I do appreciate that it's not the wink that Roger would give.
Correct.
It's much more subtle.
It's absolutely much more subtle. They're silly talk about what Bond's story is with Elektra, what she's doing there.
Which is a really interesting thing that suddenly she's
very tight-lipped about why she was doing this in the first place.
Yeah, that is very interesting. Do we ever find out?
We don't. And I'm like, where did that nugget go?
I wonder if that's something that they forgot to take out or something.
Well, I mean, it's kind of it could be kind of a throwaway line one way or the other.
Yeah,
she's got a pass.
Yeah, either that or it allowed her to be nosy about what his relationship status was with Elektra.
Well, yeah, so there's definitely that little bit of catty stuff. But I'm like, dude, there's a whole layer to her character that gets no explanation or exposition at all. And okay, it's a James Bond movie, not a Christmas Jones movie. I get it.
Right.
And I feel like if this movie had been made 10 years later, there would have been some viral video that went along with why Christmas Jones was doing this work.
Right.
Maybe would have built that character up more and given it more credence than they gave it in the movie.
Indeed.
But I want to know more about why Christmas Jones was working at the ass end of the world decertifying nuclear bombs in Kazakhstan.
Well, I wonder too. There was a whole series of posters that Sean Longmore, who does lots and lots of Bond art. He does the Bond poster.
He does a lot of alternate poster art for Mondo and for other companies.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, he does stuff for DVDs and stuff. But he did, I believe, 3 now, where he made up Christmas Jones movies, where she's the lead.
Really?
Yes. And I wonder if some of these, we might need to get him on and see where his head was at when he was making those posters. Like, did he create like a whole story in order to sort of figure out what those posters looked like? And,
right.
And who's in it and what's happening in the movie or whatever. Because I wonder if maybe the wheels were turning for him as well during this moment.
Yeah, because it's just the whole dichotomy of it is that you've got this really attractive nuclear physicist, right? That's the whole conceit, right?
And you don't know a thing about why she's there.
Right. But the thing that I hate the most about this is that she's, from the director and the producer standpoint, she's there to be eye candy.
Right.
Because they don't give her the opportunity to make the character anything.
Yeah.
And yes, I would watch a Christmas Jones movie with Denise Richards in it if they gave her a script and something to work with.
Absolutely.
That would have been...
Are you kidding?
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. So it's just that it felt like a little throwaway line. Maybe there was more to it and they just didn't film it. They edited whatever they did.
Right.
But you're like, I want to know more about that. And you get nothing because it's all about, are you dating her? Are you guys together? Did you give her the Remington Steel? This mean I have to come up with the names for all the other Bonds members too? I don't know. I'm not even going to think about that.
Well, you've done a good job so far.
So far. Anyway, he says that and alluding that they need to go back and interrogate Zukovsky because he's come to realize maybe now that she's realized that Elektra's the bad guy, that maybe there's something more there that's going on with that $1 million bet that went south.
Right.
But, before that, we got to cut back to old Elektra, Renard, and M, the big family reunion. We're back to Istanbul, not Constantinople. Nope, it's Istanbul.
That's right. In Turkey.
Anyway, Renard arrives to meet Elektra, who jumps into his arms. Plutonium, whee! And I like how there's this conceit that everyone's walking around that weapons-grade plutonium is not dangerous.
Right. You can just handle it. It's fine.
And I meant to do some research on this.
Yeah.
I got more invested in Bond guns, which is something I usually don't do. Mm-hmm. But they're running around a bunch of FNP90s out there, all the bad terrorists and everything. I'm like, was Bond even using a Beretta? I couldn't even tell. And yeah, he was using a Beretta P99, which is apparently a Beretta. I don't know. I've never seen it before. But anyway, I didn't get into the whole thing about weapons-grade plutonium. All I know is this. Plutonium, whether it's weapons-grade or not, it's still radioactive, highly radioactive. So if it's encased in something that, as a weapon, prevents it from leaking radioactivity, okay, but I just don't feel like that's how it works.
I don't know. I mean, it looked like it was made in some sort of like a candle holder or something.
Well,
it was like
it's like I do know that they're spherical, right? And at least the earlier ones were designed sort of like soccer balls.
Okay.
So that when they exploded in a specific direction, push it in, boom, you get fission and bombs, right? So the circular portion of it makes sense to me. Why is it split in half at all? That makes zero sense to me. Why would you make something that inherently needed two pieces to be together to work separate?
To be fair, now it still doesn't explain, is plutonium safe to just handle willy-nilly, which it isn't. But they do convert the plutonium once they get to...
Okay, I've got more things on that. We'll get to that point.
Okay.
But my point being, A, I don't think you can handle any kind of plutonium safely in its raw form like that.
Seems bad.
B, if you're putting it into something that makes it safe to handle, I think it negates the ability to make it do what it's supposed to do. And 3, why is it split in half? It looked like it came apart, Ben. It had one side had dimples, one side had nipples. Bob's your uncle, big circle, sphere. I'm just like, this is dumb. But anyway, here's Renard. Here's your thing. Here's your future. We're going to rule the world, baby. Yeah, we are. Woohoo! Yeah. Then they go down to M's cell, because, of course, there's a cell in the house.
In the house.
I mean, it's Europe.
Yeah.
No, it's Istanbul. So everybody's got a dungeon in their place in Istanbul, right?
Of course.
Not in Constantinople, but definitely in Istanbul.
Right.
This is where Elektra kind of tells M, my father meant nothing to me. He left me to die. You left me to die.
Right. He stole my mother's fortune. I'm taking it back.
I'm taking back what's mine. Girl power. But then she does this. All supervillains do. It's time to monologue. And she gives away her entire plot, or rather, he gives up the entire plot that they're going to blow up all of Istanbul by noon the next day.
Yeah.
Renard moves out, leaves her alone there, and, before leaving, he wants to build the pressure for her because he's kind of an asshole. So he takes a little wooden stool that's sitting in the cell area and puts a clock on it so that she can watch time tick off to when the nuke's going to go.
And I believe this is also the moment where they get into this tete-a-tete, M and Renard. And Renard is blaming M for leaving her with him and letting him ruin her or whatever. And it's so backwards logic. Like, it makes sense because he's supposed to be a madman.
Right.
And so it would make sense that he would somehow blame M. Heaven forbid that he do something better and not screw the girl up.
Right. You put her in a situation where I, being the asshole that I am, had to be me and ruin her and turn her into what you see now. So that's all your fault, and that's why you have to die for me. It's enough that you had to die because of that, but now you have to die because of what I had to do that you made me do. So fuck you, Em. You're going to die.
That all makes complete sense.
I mean, supervillain logic is sketchy in most cases anyway. He does have a bullet in his head. Maybe the processing isn't as great as it was.
Could be part of it.
I don't know, but it is what it is. Yes. So he walks out, leaves the clock sitting on the bench. M kind of eyeballs it stealthily. What could possibly be happening? I don't know. Is she thinking of a plan? We cut from there to Elektra and Renard together. What can a man who can feel nothing do? One has to wonder.
Well, they ask just that very question in this scene.
Don't they, though? And they put a little effort into it.
So if you can't feel pain, can you feel any pleasure? I'm guessing not.
I'm thinking not.
He might be having some intimacy issues.
Maybe a little. Maybe. Just, one would think, it would give him amazing staying power.
You might need a little blue pill.
Assuming that his silver bullet is working.
Oh, God. How long did you work on that?
I just came up with that right now. Right out of my brain. Just like the bullet in Renard's head. So we realize that he has some problems, shall we say, in the bedroom. But she's kind of not mad, but she's kind of is mad. And he's all like, you enjoyed having sex with Bond. And she's all like, have you seen the dude?
He's hot.
You would have liked having sex with Bond. What are you talking about? He gets all pissed off because he's like, I love you and I want to make you feel good and I want to enjoy it too, but I can't. So in a fit of rage, punches into a random wooden box, which
is weird. And it looks very similar to the torture rack that we see later.
Yeah.
But it's not the torture rack. It's like an accoutrement to the torture rack that just...
A little hat that you wear, a little hat box.
Well...
Footstool.
Yes.
Ooh, a booster seat.
It could something. I don't know. It had the same wood inlays. That's all I know.
It could have been a booster seat for really short people because it didn't look like it was adjustable. Anyway. So he gets mad, punches a box. He can't feel any pain. He comes out and he's bleeding and creepy ice scene again.
Yes. She tried.
Let me put the ice on your knuckles where you could feel no pain.
Right.
And then I'm going to roll it down my face so seductively. Aren't you turned on? Oh my gosh. The whole thing is just gross. I mean,
spoiler, he's not turned on.
No, it's gross. I don't like it. So they cut from that issue, and then we get to M trying to get that clock that's outside her cell with, what did she grab?
I don't know. It looked like a cane or a broomstick or something.
Who leaves a broom, anything with a length in it, in a jail cell where you're trying to hold somebody?
Well, that's the thing about those old jails. Again, this is probably just a rental. So there's a bunch of stuff in the cell.
Yeah.
They just, if you're going to use the cell, you might want to move all the stuff out of it or else, your captive might.
We need something for the cleaning crew after you're done renting it through Airbnb.
Your captive might get some ideas if you leave all that stuff in the cell.
Hey, you guys signed the agreement. There's clearly a clause in that says we are not responsible if anybody you lock up in the jail cell at the bottom of the villa is able to escape with what's left inside the jail cell. You are responsible for cleaning up your own messes. It's right there in the contract. So yeah. So she gets the thing in there and I'm like, you know what? You're going to biff this because you're too much for her. You need to slow down, think about what you're doing. And she tries to drag this three-legged stool over with the clock.
Well, then she biffs it.
Yeah, it falls over.
Yeah.
Poor M. Boo-hoo. Womp womp. We cut over to Zhukovsky's Caviar Factory. Now, I'm going to go right here and say, I knew it was his caviar factory. I saw the sign. When it goes into the tank, I did not realize that was caviar. I was not putting two and two together.
The funny thing is I never really cared before because I think I was too young at the time to give a shit about how caviar is harvested or prepared.
Sure.
And so I never even imagined that I would ever even eat caviar when I was that age, I first saw the movie. But watching it now, I was like, oh, okay, well, that does make sense. It never clicked that, you need a facility that's kind of over the water.
Well, yeah.
For all these things to work.
Again, I wish I had taken the time to see how caviar was actually produced. Now, it's so expensive because you're basically getting fish eggs, right?
Right.
So it's not like they're just eggs. You got to go and get the eggs.
Probably a very specific fish.
Right. Oh, there are definitely specific fishes that you do it with. I feel like, there's not a tank that big full of caviar anywhere in the effing world.
Seems sloppy, too.
B, how clean is that facility when there's nothing even covering
Not
the
at
tanks?
all. It's just raw.
I'm just like, and now you've got special Zukovsky flavored Zukovsky caviar because he was rolling around in it.
Well, these things happen.
I thought it was oil. I thought it was anything but what it was until I realized, oh shit, that's caviar he's in.
Right.
Ew. Yeah. Something about that makes it even worse than being in oil or something. I'd rather be in oily water than caviar. Ugh.
Well, that's fish oil and...
No, you're gonna get out of there, and you're gonna be picking fish eggs out of orifices.
Things that you don't want to imagine caviar has found its way into.
Anyway, so this is like probably the biggest set piece of the film, other than I'd say it's definitely the biggest set piece because even the pre-title had some narrative structure and whatever to it before we got to the boat chase. This one is clearly just to blow shit up.
It really is. And there's a couple moments where it's a little too in your face, almost as if the production company is telling you, this is the part where we blow shit up.
So pay attention, 007.
Because there's a moment specifically, I'm getting ahead of us, but we're close enough, where Pierce Brosnan is running down the deck or whatever it is, the walkway. Right. He's running at full speed and the tree trimming blades are right behind him, literally right behind him. And he's running in a straight line directly towards camera. And it's almost out of nowhere because the previous shots, it's not like he comes around the corner. You don't see how he arrived there.
Right.
It's just, we constructed this beautiful shot right here. And damn it, it's going in the film.
That's right. You know how much that shot cost?
Exactly. It's lit
in the movie.
It's lit perfect. Everything blows up the way it's supposed to. Use it.
Yeah, use it. Continuity be damned.
Indeed.
So we get over here to the caviar factory. We see Zukovsky rolling up in his Rolls Royce, which is hilarious. He's rolling in the rolls, yo. He walks in. And the logo is tilted sideways. And it's obviously just the tin off of one of his caviar tins. He has to turn it back and he grumbles about it. We got Mr. Goldie Bullion in there, sees Bond's BMW, immediately goes and calls Elektra to tell her that Bond's alive. Because guess what? He's a mole.
He's a mole.
He's a mole in the Zukovsky organization.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. At this moment, Zukovsky comes into his office to find Christmas Jones in a tight-fitting purple dress, smiling.
I love this moment.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like...
And how did you get in? I'll call security and congratulate them. Drink? Can't you just say hello like a normal person?
Such a great moment.
It is. I think Robbie Coltrane really kind of stole the scenes that he was in.
Every scene. Every scene he's in, I can't not...
It's just so over the top.
Yeah. But in the best way. Like, not in an eye roll, oh God, get him off the screen way.
No.
More like you just can't get enough of it.
Yeah, he's this jovial, whatever he is, and he loves relishing in being what he is.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. You can tell he's clearly enjoying himself in the role.
He's the Sala of these pictures, right?
Yes.
So Bond wants to know what Zukovsky's business is with Elektra. He tells her that Elektra and Renard are now working together, but Zukovsky goes, well, he didn't know that. Suddenly, the helicopter tree trimmer, callback, cuts right through the Beluga factory, like literally cuts the Beluga factory in half. Hey, well, actually, technically, it's a Beluga caviar factory because they're not manufacturing belugas.
They're manufacturing caviar.
From the beluga.
So, beluga whale.
No, it's not beluga whales because they're whales. They don't have eggs. They're mammals.
I don't know these things. I don't know. I was not a biology major.
Look, people, I'm kind of talking to my ass here too. Pretty sure it's not beluga whales because they're mammals. But if one of our 10 listeners out there knows anything about caviar and beluga caviar in particular, please give us a shout out and let us know.
That's right. CICdeaddrop@gmail.com.
Well, seeing these wonderful spinning blades of death, and we've literally got lots of spinning blades of death.
Holy cow.
There's some blades on the top of the helicopter and the back of the helicopter hanging underneath the helicopter.
Well, and there's more than one helicopter, too.
Why they needed two, I don't know. Also, why did he take out the least dangerous helicopter first?
Right.
Also don't know, but we'll get to that. Bond makes a break for his BMW, hops inside and activates the Simon game that's attached to his steering wheel controls.
It is a dead ringer for the Simon game from the 80s.
Totally is. Beep, boop. It would have been funny if he had to do like a little color code in order to make it work.
Now pay attention, 007. In order for you to arm your missile launcher,
green.
you must follow the pad strokes of Simon, the...
It's like, 007, it generates a random pattern. You have to hit the exact same pattern in order to activate the missile.
It's basically the reCAPTCHA of 1999.
It is. Exactly. So Bond successfully plays the Simon game and managed to activate his missiles.
It proves to the missile targeting system that he is not a computer.
Right. And then it does all the work for him with this little targeting system in the middle of the BMW symbol. Fires off the missiles at the wrong helicopter.
Not the one that's right behind him, about to chop his
him
BMW.
in half.
Yeah.
Clearly not tracking missiles or anything like that. And what's the deal, man? First of all, let's backtrack. I forgot. He drives the car automatically.
Yes.
And it's a manual transmission.
Well,
I have to point out the fact that he's driving a manual transmission car automatically.
I mean, when you're in the car, you want control. When you're out of the car, you just want to use your little finger on your little pad on your phone.
Who's pushing the clutch?
It does it for you. Apparently.
No, that's not how it works.
Well, I don't know.
That's not how it works. All I'm thinking in my head is like, how are they driving a car with a clutch when there's no one to push the clutch down? If you have a clutch that works by itself, isn't it then by definition an automatic transmission? I'm sorry. I'm a car nerd. Things like that bother me. Anyway, he drives the car to get it into position. Then he goes in, activates the Simon game, wins the reCAPTCHA, blows up the wrong helicopter, and immediately gets cut in half by the helicopter he should have shot.
Q's going to be so pissed.
Yes, Q's going to be so angry. And I'm like, didn't they say this thing had titanium armor?
Something like that.
I'm like, were they titanium blades?
I mean, those blades cut through everything. They cut through pipelines. They cut through metal walls and roofs.
I know.
And everything. I mean,
titanium feels like it would have been a little more robust.
Yes. I mean, it cut through that like just what it probably was, aluminum.
Yeah, it cut through that car like a lightsaber through a Trade Federation door, man. That cut through that thing like a lightsaber through a Sith Lord's abdomen. That cut through like a lightsaber through anything that isn't another lightsaber. Use whichever one you want.
Oh, God. All three.
All right, so the BMW, which I'm sad to say gets cut in half because, God, that was a gorgeous car.
Oh, can I just say, though, right after it gets sliced in half, I love the reaction shot of Zukovsky having a good laugh about it.
Right.
Like seeing the car be chopped.
See Bond's car get... Yeah. Watch what's going to happen to your house, man.
Yeah.
So, meanwhile, we've got Bullion all huddled up, grasping his shiny little man purse. What is the story with that bucket anyway, man? All the
kings. I know what you were about to say. All the king's horses and all the king's men.
Yes, that's it exactly. So now all of King's men are on the ground, and we've got a ground fight going on. So Bond zip lines down something using a crowbar, very reminiscent of Half-Life and Gordon Freeman with the magic crowbar.
Yeah.
Gotta love that.
It's just, again, this is where we start to get a lot of random action-y moments where one thing doesn't necessarily follow another. It's just, well, this shot looks great. This one.
Yeah. Well,
just throw in a cutaway to Zukovsky and Christmas Jones for a half a second and then show Bond doing another amazing, awesome action thing.
Exactly. But all of it's fun to watch.
Yeah,
there's absolutely no doubt about it. Bond yells at Christmas and Zukovsky to get out. They try to dive out, but the helicopter has chopped a hole in the roadway, which sends him into the water below. Finally, Bond's like, I got to be smart. I'm going to open up a gas line.
And one of the few moments where we get smart Bond.
Yeah, definitely. I got to get out of this situation. I'm hopelessly outnumbered. What can I do? Open up a gas line. That always produces something good.
Right. And there just happened to be a flare gun right next to him. Well, now I will say, in argument of having a flare gun right there, they are at sea.
Yep.
Or are on the Caspian Sea.
Yep,
So you might at the dock, you might actually need a flare gun. So there's a flare gun right there.
And which he shoots with deadly accuracy.
At the cloud of gas.
Correct. At the cloud of gas, which then catches on fire and then amazingly blows up the spinny blade helicopter.
That's right.
And maybe the worst miniature shot. I mean, even the balloon seemed more convincing than a helicopter going up.
I did like all the blades flying around, though, afterwards.
CGI. Following Zukovsky. What the hell? But it blows up, falls into the water. Blades are flying everywhere. We see Zukovsky jump in to avoid a blade, landing in his pit of caviar.
His pit of caviar, which is so weird.
It's so gross.
Yeah.
Because the consistency of it doesn't appear to be right. It almost, you know what? I just realized what it looks like. It looks like he jumped into a gigantic vat of black olives. You know, the olive juice that comes in the cans?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's even grosser than fish eggs. So he's in there and he's flopping around. Bond comes in and questions him, really giving him a hard time because he's struggling. Floating around in his caviar.
Yeah.
He's a big fella.
Yeah.
And that's not water. That's some viscous egg goo. I'm thinking aliens now. And, you know, basically Bond gets out of him what he needs to have. He finds out that occasionally Zukovsky is providing equipment to Elektra and that his nephew, who he inaccurately identifies as a friend later in the movie, his nephew... who is in the Navy, has been smuggling those parts for him to her in Istanbul, not Constantinople. At that point, Bond starts to help Zukovsky get out, but then Bullion shows up to help. Zukovsky makes some comment about, well, we still have 4 solid walls. Right. And then the entire facility falls down around them.
And we couldn't get out of the scene without yet one last quip as we see the wide shot of everything.
The insurance company is never going to believe this.
No. And I do like that the only person you see running out of the building is Christmas. Everybody else stays in because they're manly men. So with the end of Zukovsky's caviar business, we slide ever so goopily into Act 3.
So, Act 3. From here, we get this shot. It's kind of a strange shot. It looks like it's almost like at dusk or something. And Renard is looking out with binoculars from their,
Rent-a-sub lair?
Yeah, rent-a-sub lair in Constantinople or Istanbul.
Not Constantinople.
And he sees a tanker ship coming into shore. And we get this weird little shot of the tanker that eventually tilts down into the water and goes underwater. And then underneath, we see it reveals a submarine. And then it cuts to inside the tanker where the submarine is now docking inside this thing. So, for once they did it in the right order. See, now I know that a lot of people, I don't know. This is just me. I know a lot of people don't like it when the audience knows more than Bond. I prefer it.
Yeah.
And I'm just watching him react to things.
Yes.
Whereas in this movie, with the exception of this moment, most of the time you are figuring it out with Bond. You are with him every step of the way, right. And it's very confusing. And since Bond is better at figuring these little things out, half the time I don't figure it out until like 3 scenes later.
Right.
When somebody else explains it for me. So, so anyway, then we cut to daybreak. And Zukovsky is with Bond and Christmas, and they are walking into what used to be the KGB's Istanbul safe house. Now belongs to FSB, the Federal Security Bureau, whatever that is.
Yeah, anyway, different letters. Same organization.
Exactly. So it's finally uncovered that Zukovsky's nephew, Nikolai, is lending a nuclear submarine, not just machinery, to Renard and Elektra. And Christmas explains that if you put the plutonium in the subreactor, you get total nuclear meltdown. Now, the thing is she explains it, but Bond basically sums it up right before that, too. Mm-hmm. Again, she's just echoing. And I don't know if that's one of those things where, well, it's probably two things. One, they didn't know what to give her to say. And two, they're trying to make it easier for the viewer to figure out what's going on.
Right.
It's just sort of reiterating so it punches into the viewer's brain. Okay, this is bad.
Yeah.
Blowing up a nuclear reactor using a small amount of plutonium would work, and it would kill about 8 million people in Istanbul. So something like that. Anyway, right. And the other benefit of making this reaction happen in a submarine makes it look like an accident. And it makes it so that the only safe pipeline to use is the King pipeline.
Yeah, that's
the whole crux.
That's the motivation behind doing it.
Right. Then we quick cut over to Renard boarding Nikolai's submarine, giving the sailors some food and drink. Can't imagine if the food and drink might be poisoned or something.
Well, and they're only running a skeleton crew.
Right. Anyway, so then we cut back to M.
Do you know what M stands for?
What does it stand for, Jason?
MacGyver.
That's right. Indeed, because she certainly has her little MacGyver moment here. So Elektra comes down to see M one last time, where M asks her what time it is, and Elektra picks up the clock on the floor. Time to die. And I'm like, time to die? No time to die?
Wait a minute. There's no time to die here.
There's no time to die as far as I was told in a later... Anyway. Okay. Once Elektra's gone, M takes the warhead tracker that she had in her pocket conveniently.
Right.
And hooks it up to the alarm clock battery. Very, very smart of her.
Yes.
So that suddenly, immediately, the FSB picks it up on their little radar or whatever, and Bond magically immediately knows that it's M. It's like, oh, well, it has to be M.
Of course. Well, didn't he give it to her?
He did.
So he knows she has
So he assumed that she still had it even while in the cell.
Well, of course.
Of course.
When James Bond gives you something, you keep it forever.
That's right.
You get ID cards, bullets, herpes, all of it.
So one little thing in here that you pointed out.
Yeah, a little Easter egg.
Little Easter egg in this scene, which I loved once I realized it was there.
Right.
Is that inside this little FSB office, on the wall,
next to the map where they're figuring out where the coordinates that are coming from the signal are.
Yes, there's a little picture of one Miss Xenia Onatopp.
That's right, and a really bad, almost dot matrixy level printing job. But you can't miss Famke Janssen even in 8-bits.
Nope. So nice little touch there.
Which I'm like, did Zukovsky put that there? It's like his Playboy thing there.
Well, somebody told me too that in that same room there's some lockers that you see in part of that scene, and there's some pinups on the lockers. And somebody online said that all the pinups on the lockers were also Bond girls. Like they clipped out pictures of old Bond girls and stuck them to the lockers.
That's fantastic.
It's so far off though. Like when I was watching it, you can't make out who any of them are. You can just tell that they're pinups. That's as far as it goes, but
it's probably got a Ivanova.
Poli Ivanova. You know you've got to have a pusher. Pusher galore.
What if it was just Russian ones?
Oh, that's right.
You'd have Barbara Bach on there.
Right. Agent Triple X.
Yes. Probably the lady in charge too. What was the old redhead lady?
Irma Bunt?
Yeah, she's probably up there too. Because some of those Russians like the...
Everybody's got their thing.
Everybody's got their
a
king.
lid for every pot, man. We'll just move on.
Continue.
At this point, Zukovsky calls on Bullion to go get M, but Bullion has left a bomb in the office and then ran the hell out of there. So, boom, bomb goes off, and then they manage to get just far enough away from the bomb to be relatively unscathed.
And how brutal. So, that case he's been carrying around the whole time is the bomb. Right? And I thought about how brutal it was in the second viewing because he sets the bomb on the desk of a lady that just talked, right? She was giving them some information. That lady got liquefied by that thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, ooh, that may be a little too personal for me.
At least the way that it was filmed, it wasn't like
no,
obvious.
I mean, it wasn't. No, it was definitely a PG-13. But normally you get stuff like that at the box. It's not sitting somewhere next to a character who just had a speaking.
Right. It's usually sitting on the floor.
Right. Or
something.
if it is with a speaking line, the intent is for you to go, oh shit, they killed that lady.
Right.
Right. So it seemed kind of disingenuous when I watched them. It was like, damn.
Yeah. A little rough. But the three mains are fine.
Well, but we don't know that...
we don't know that Zukovsky's okay. Yeah. So, because we just see Bond and Christmas take off after Bullion, which I don't know what they're going to try and do, because clearly Bullion has got more guys waiting.
Right. So, I mean, in my notes even, I'm like, bye, Hagrid.
Oh, no.
Oh, poor Hagrid.
So they try and chase him, and as soon as they get outside, Bond and Christmas are surrounded by Elektra's men. Meanwhile, we see Renard's men take over the sub, and all the sailors are dead. I hope you enjoyed your meal. Subsequently thrown overboard.
Which you get to see, which I think is
so
fantastic.
Cold. It's so cold. Oh, man, it's cold. And then from here, we see Bond being taken to Elektra's quarters for some quality pain facing.
Woohoo!
But before that, now this is that moment that I talked about probably in episode 1 of our two-parter here, where we get some really great acting out of Renard.
Right.
So Elektra goes to meet with Renard at the submarine. And this is this moment where Renard knows that he's going to be done for soon because he can barely feel a damn thing.
Right.
And at this point, it's basically just a suicide mission.
Right.
And he's doing it all for her. And that's what's so...
Yeah, it's painfully romantic in its own way.
In a weird sort of way it is.
He's like this... He turned her into the bad guy.
He turns her into a monster and suddenly...
He sort of becomes more of a human being by channeling that into her.
Yeah.
And he's also conflicted because he knows he did that.
Yeah.
So there's this layers here.
Yeah.
That you're like, holy shit, I'm getting all of that out of one little 2 or 3 little lines of dialogue.
Yeah, because she comes up and kisses him passionately, and you can see the pain on his face while she's trying to kiss him, and he's just like, he can't feel any of it. It's like, he's just numb to all of it, and it's eating him alive that he can't feel anything.
Right.
It's a great little moment where he's like, this is the end. And she's like super excited, and she's like, this will be the beginning. And then he walks away and he says, the future is yours. Have fun with it. And it's just like, damn, like just such a reversal of who's the monster now and who's the innocent one now.
And she very unpainfully accepts it. Like, yep, you're right.
Yeah,
I'll go pawn.
She's almost, just sort of, I'm done with you now. I've gotten what I needed out of you. So he goes off to go back into the sub, and we go back to Bond at the torture chair, and we get this fun little exchange, which I actually kind of enjoyed.
I could have given you the world.
Huh. The world is not enough.
Foolish sentiment.
Family motto.
And I love how Bond just sort of, what are you going to do? I was born into this.
Yeah, I do like that he gets the title into it there.
And it's not
it's not too egregious.
It's not too ham-fisted or anything. And then we see Christmas being escorted away to the submarine. And then we get to heavy torture time.
Twisty, twisty, click, click, click.
And I actually really like this scene. I actually think it's pretty cool. Like, it goes on too long.
Yeah. But you get some sexy torture going on.
It's very sexy torture. I didn't think it was ever going to get to sexy. Part of it is Brosnan is so convincing in showing his pain off with all those pain faces. As much as people love online to make fun of him, it's convincing.
Sure.
It's very convincing that he's in a lot of pain. But then, man, they cut to the wide and she's straddling him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, oh, this is kind of sad. This is like a sexy.
Well, not even that. She like swishes the gown around.
Yeah.
And then just does the whole.
Oh, and then do you know what happens to men when they are, that whole thing, like bringing that into it? It's like, jeez. Am I in the middle of a Red Shoe Diaries moment here?
Hello. This is PG-13, right?
So just as Bond's about to die, basically, and he says like, he gets in one last thing as he's choking. He's like, one last screw or whatever. And then you hear
gunfire
outside. And You see Zukovsky blasting his way in. Now, I thought it looked like they did a good job, and it could have just been me. I don't know. But when he's getting off the boat outside and he's shooting people, it looked like his face was still blue from the caviar. It looked like his face was still stained.
Well, he definitely had something on his face when he died. So, yeah, it must have just literally been we got on a boat and left.
Right.
So for continuity's sake, they didn't clean him up any.
Right. So Zukovsky blasts his way in, finally killing Bullion, which I really enjoyed. He's like, I'm so glad you're alive, boss. He's like, yeah, so am I. Boom.
Oh, yeah.
But Elektra manages to shoot Zukovsky.
Well, he comes in, and then Bond is like, look over at that submarine hat over here with his eyes. He's not saying it, but he's like... That was a visual joke for you people, because everybody knows that visual stuff is part of the podcast.
It definitely translates into audio.
You watch the movie, you know what I mean.
So then he sort of orders Elektra to bring over the hat.
Which is so dumb.
Yeah, and so of course she's hiding the gun behind the hat and then shoots Zukovsky.
Down he goes. Bye, Hagrid.
And then with a final bullet in his fancy schmancy walking cane gun, Zukovsky manages to shoot at Bond and break open his the shackle, the arm restraint. And it's funny too. I felt like it would have been almost better off if they hadn't had a line here at all, because I felt like they explained away right after Zukovsky shoots the restraint. Elektra is like, wow, he must have really hated you to try and kill you with this last bullet.
Yes.
And I almost felt like that wasn't needed. Like that almost drew more attention to the what's going on here type moment.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it was more to cover the fact that she didn't realize. It was to show that she didn't realize that he'd hit something important with that shot.
Right.
So that she could be surprised when Bond got free.
Right. So then Elektra comes over, and I don't even remember what she was going to do. But Bond, breaks free because the shackle's open and knocks her to the floor. And in the meantime, he unlocks the neck brace and he gets out and manages to grab the gun or something. I don't know. And Elektra flees up the stairs.
Right. Taunting him the whole way. You can't kill me. I'm so hot.
You can't bring yourself to do it. Look at how hot I am running up these stairs in my flowy dress. Very much so. So as Bond is running up the stairwell after her, we hear M call out, Bond! It is the most forceful. I'm like, damn, that woman has a voice on her.
Right?
Like
just Shakespeare.
Exactly. So M yells out, Bond! And so Bond stops and goes into the room where her cell is and doesn't even acknowledge her hardly.
Just shoots the lock.
Just shoots the lock.
You're on your own, lady.
And just keeps running. Runs up to the top of the steps. He's got her cornered and he grabs the radio that I don't even know when he had the radio, but he took the radio off his belt and he hands it to her at gunpoint and says, call Renard off. And that's when Elektra does her best. But look at how sexy I am.
Mm-hmm. You can't kill me.
You can't kill me. You can't turn me in. Come with me, James. We could do wonderful things. You know, just all the look at me. Ooh, all the blink, just so many blinky moments there.
You can't kill me. You'd miss me too much, or you'd miss me.
Yeah, something like that. And then instead of calling Renard off, she
basically keep on going.
Right. And then, of course, that's when Bond shoots her.
And I never miss.
Well, from that range.
You would hope not.
And we get this little weird moment where Bond sort of stands over her as she's dead on the bed, and M is watching this whole thing. And he just sort of like dips down over her and just kind of like closes her eyelids or whatever, and then he goes out onto the balcony almost as if he didn't even see M standing there watching all this, because there's no discussion between the two.
There's no acknowledgement at all.
Like it's almost as if those two things were shot on two different days.
You wonder.
So anyway, he goes out onto the balcony and he looks down in the water and he sees the submarine, and it's shockingly close at this point too. Like, I'm thinking about the geography of that rent-a-mansion. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's not close. You can't sail a submarine that close to that thing.
So the whole thing, okay. So submarines, right? People always think submarines, I think, are just the little part that sticks out of the water.
Right.
Right? And submarines are freaking gigantic.
Big.
Right. So big that you can't draft them. You can't run them through normal traditional waterways.
Right.
Even when they're partially, or even when they're not submerged.
Right.
Because unlike the old days, submarines used to come all the way up to the surface, the whole boat, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Indiana Jones style, right?
Right.
But because they also didn't always completely submerge, they couldn't stay submerged like they can now. So this submarine that they're in probably is, I don't know, it's probably at least 100 feet long.
Yeah.
Right. But it's also probably 50 or 60 feet high. Right. And most waterways that are attached to anything are not that deep.
No way.
So when I'm seeing it inside the little hidey hole it's in,
right,
I'm thinking it's a sub pen, that it was built to be that.
Right.
But nobody goes to the effort of explaining that.
Right.
They could have even said it was on this sub thing. It was a secret old Nazi hidden base on an island that looked a lot like Tatooine. And there was a small expeditionary force there in the late 30s. And there was a thing that happened, and it was abandoned after that. I don't know. Either way, though, because I'm looking at it, and when he dives off of the balcony, I'm like, how did he know it was going to be deep enough for him to jump that way? And I'm like, oh, well, shit, if there's a submarine in there, he's got no problem.
It's deep enough, but the thing is that thing is probably so much wider underwater. Uh-huh. He'd be lucky not to hit it.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I mean, he jumps in, he's like right next to it.
Yeah.
So,
which means that underwater, he's probably pong.
Yeah. So,
but anyway.
Yeah. Bond division, I don't know.
So, yeah. So he swan dives off the balcony to get onto the sub and save Christmas. Not the holiday, Christmas Jones.
That's a different movie. Santa Claus versus the Navy. It's a completely different movie.
So anyway, and Istanbul as we know it. So he gets on the sub and quickly forces a guard to lead him to where Christmas is. Then we cut to see Renard doing cool glowy things with plutonium. They're preparing it. This is another moment I know Jason has a problem with.
That's not how you make plutonium rods. I'm pretty sure you don't manufacture them right there on the sub.
With no enclosure either.
Yeah, no protection.
No enclosure whatsoever.
Because guess what? Oh, well, it's not weapons grade plutonium, so it must be dangerous. You can't handle it. But we'll just go ahead and have that little blue glowy rod go through.
I'm sure the blue glowy rod is perfectly safe. There's no need to have any sort of enclosure or protection or
also,
wear a suit or...
Do plutonium rods glow?
No, they don't. But, movies.
Right.
So people think that all things nuclear glow. From here, Bond tells Christmas that he's going to try and force the sub to surface so that it shows up on spy satellites and brings out the Navy. And then, of course, it all promptly goes wrong.
Right.
He goes in there and he tries to commandeer the command center. Everything goes awry, and the sub nosedives and starts headed downward. And we get the little smart-ass comment from Christmas about...
So we're supposed to be going up. They'll change the plan. Blah.
Yeah. So now the sub is vertical and it hits the bottom of the sea. And that's when, we get everybody's vertical and swinging or falling down and chaos, dogs and cats living together. And we start seeing water invading into the sub. We also get a quick shot where Renard, who's also, dangling from a thing, something.
Yeah, he's hanging onto the grating that was previously the floor.
Right. And you see him losing his gun. The gun falls several tens of feet down, so he's not going to be able to get to that. Pay attention, kids. He no longer has a gun. So we cut back and and Christmas sees that Renard has opened up the reactor and locked himself in. So Bond then has to try and swim outside the sub and re-enter into the reactor room escape hatch while Christmas unlocks the hatch that lets him in. So, as we mentioned before, this is the one time that Christmas does something.
This is the entire reason that the character is in the movie,
is to open this hatch so that Bond can stop him.
This might explain why the dialogue for her is so bad. They got to this point of the thing like, oh, fuck.
Now what is she supposed to say?
No. They were like, there was no Christmas Jones in the script. They got to this point.
I see what you're saying.
Who's going to operate the door? Fuck.
All right.
Here's what we do.
Here's what we do. We make a Bond girl. We'll call her. I don't know.
Yeah. Like Easter Smith or
yes.
Wait. Passover Abramowitz. No. Christmas Jones.
Perfect. We'll make her a doctor.
She'll be a physicist. Then she could be working with Bond. This is amazing. This is great. How did we not think of this before? And then they went and wrote like pages and pages of dialogue, gave her an excellent backstory that would have been fully explained.
And then United Artists came over and went, no.
We don't need.
What if we just?
We don't need Tandy.
What if? Yeah, we don't need Tandy. What if we just find a really hot American chick, just all American type looking girl
that'll appeal to the audience?
Yes, that wearing tight clothes the entire time,
but glasses, so she's smart.
Which she doesn't wear.
She does at the beginning, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So that explains the whole reason why she's so underdeveloped as a character. Because I feel like they got to this point and said, oh shit, who pushes the button?
Right. Who lets him in?
Right. So they had to create an entire character just to get her to push a button.
So that's what happens. Bond swims outside, goes into the escape hatch, and then with a little bit of trouble, kudos to Christmas for, being faithful. And despite the water flooding the cabin that she's in, she goes underwater and she
goes in. It's not there yet.
Yeah.
Gets some air. Goes in. It's not there yet. Goes back, gets some air. Oh, he's there now. And then she fumbles with the button.
Right.
Which I'm laughing the whole time because I'm like, why did you just leave the button cover off?
Right. Instead, she has to take the cover off first before even hitting the button. Anyway, so then Bond fights Renard, essentially. We get the final fight, and Renard just kicks his ass, which
for sure
makes sense. I mean, because he can't feel pain, and then he really gets pissed off when he discovers that Elektra's dead already.
Yeah, well, Bond did it to get his goat.
Right.
Can I point out before have you ever had like a fancy pen?
A fancy pen?
Yeah, like really nice, like a Mont Blanc. Or
I don't think I've had any of. I'm familiar, but
that you put refills in is basically what I'm saying.
I don't think I have had one.
Okay, so the plutonium rod that he had, that big bronze-looking thing, looked almost exactly
like one of the refill, like a giant
for
refill.
A nice pen. The big, longer thing with the reservoir for the ink, and then the part of that is actually the pen tip that goes into it. So every time I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, Mont Blanc? Fancy.
Plutonium rod by Mont Blanc.
Oh, yeah. I want the plutonium pen. That would be freaking awesome.
So, as they're in the middle of fighting too, Bond has to stop fighting him for a second and save Christmas from drowning because, again, she is in the cabin below she's drowning.
Yeah, it's flooding.
So she lets him in, and then in the meantime, Renard is still trying to push the plutonium rod into the coolant of the reactor or whatever it is. I don't even know.
It's stupid.
Listen, kids, I'm not great at science, and I think it shows during this episode quite a bit. But anyway, I'm not great at science. All I know is he's trying to push this plutonium rod in that's going to make everything go explodey. So he almost does, and then after Bond saves Christmas, we get more fighting, and that's when he gets his goat by telling him that Elektra's dead.
He's trying to get him emotional.
Well, and he's trying to tell him, you're doing this all for nothing. There's no reason to kill 8 million people. Elektra's dead. But that just pisses him off more. Right. And so he starts pushing it in. He gets it all. He gets the plutonium rod all the way in there. And that's when Bond starts putting 2 and 2 together within this cabin that he's in. He sees the pressurized this, and here's the hose. And if I stick this hose on this thing, it's going to recreate the air pressure. And then if I hit this lever, it's going to shoot it all out,
Right.
Yada, yada, yada.
I'm like, wait a minute. So if that system was intended to eject each one of the rods by pushing a button, why was the level of that set to eviscerate human being?
Right.
Because at best, it's going to shoot across the room and hit the machinery on the other end.
And cause an explosion or a very dangerous leak of plutonium within the cabin.
Right. So I'm like, there could have at least been a, half full
Right.
3/4
nope.
throttle, and he's just like all the way up.
Full throttle.
Yep.
Goes right into his chest. I was waiting for Arnold Schwarzenegger to go, blow off some steam, Bennett.
Stick around.
None of that. Yet, it's
every other line in the movie is that, except for the most obvious time for that line to be there.
Somehow there's no quip right there after that. Maybe they knew that the best line had already been used with blow off some steam.
Don't go nuclear, Renard.
Oh, God. Actually, you know what? There's a really bad quip by Renard in this area too. Right as he begins putting it in, he's like, "Welcome to my nuclear family."
Yep.
So dumb. Anyway, so then Renard's dead, and Christmas reels off some dialogue that is, man, she is clearly just reading off cue cards or something.
Right?
It's so bad. We have to stabilize the blah, 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 blah. It's totally meaningless.
Right, because Bond says, no, there's water leaking in here. It's going to cool everything off. Let's swim away.
Yeah, let's just get out of here. So, anyway.
They had to write the dialogue back. I'm just saying.
So, so Bond and Christmas, they work their way up to this torpedo shooter bay or whatever.
Launch tube.
Yeah, a launch tube, and they fire themselves up to the surface.
They do that.
Which I hope they exhaled on the way up.
He did point that out,
He did point that out earlier.
If you have to get out this way, make sure you're exhaling the whole way out because you don't want to get the bends.
If you're that deep, though, I know I'm getting off on a tangent here, but if you're that deep, is that even going to be enough to avoid getting the bends? To simply exhale?
Honestly, sure. From a physics standpoint, yes. From the fact that they could not have possibly swam that far without keeping the air in their lungs, no.
So there's
they should have drowned, is what should have happened.
Yeah.
So
anyway, off they go.
Right. And get out of the water and don't even breathe hard.
Well, no, Pierce does a little bit of his his gasping face.
But still, that you just swam. I mean, granted, that thing was not that far down.
Right.
Honestly, if it hit seabed where it was at, it was probably the tail was barely not sticking out of the top of the water.
Right.
But still, a little more effort.
Right. So we get a little explodey, but everything's fine. And
it was kind of a cool underwater explosion.
Yeah, yeah.
You get the big white air bubbles that I love so much.
I do love the big white air bubbles. Those are fun. Kind of like when you fart in the tub.
Exactly. Only mine are always more brown. Anyway.
So finally, wow, I might be cutting that out. I don't know.
I'll leave it up to you.
So finally, we cut to MI6 Scotland, and M arrives back, and Tanner looks very relieved. And we get this nice little nod from R in the background.
Right.
And she asks where Bond is. And it's like, have you not been in one of these movies before? Yeah. He's shagging somebody somewhere.
Yeah. Did you not see did M actually ever see Christmas Jones at any point in time?
Yeah. Because she's in the room. Remember when they find out that the maintenance rig has...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So did you not see Christmas Jones?
Did you not see Christmas Jones?
How well do you know 007? Because you seem to know him pretty well.
You guys have brought up time and time again that he has a really hard time.
He's a slut.
He is a bit of a slut. So anyway, and of course then we cut to Bond in Turkey. I've always wanted to have Christmas in Turkey.
Not a...
and then you know, she plays along. You want to open your Christmas present now? And then, of course, we cut back to MI6 because the end wouldn't be complete without MI6, the whole of MI6 knowing that Bond is shagging somebody at this point. So,
or as they like to say, keeping the British end up.
Indeed. So, you know, MI6 finds the warhead tracker on their little thing. And they're like, well, there's the tracker. Who's there? Oh, well, Body Heat shows up as red. Of course, they zoom in and...
It looks like it's just 007 to begin with.
Yes. It's getting redder.
Yeah.
What's going on?
And then the legs.
Yeah, the legs spread and everybody's like looking at each other like, awkward work situation.
Mm-hmm. Apparently there's an R but not a HR.
And then, of course, you can't even stop there. You got to go back to Bond. I was wrong about you. I thought Christmas only came once a year.
And again, we'll refer to you as I did in the previous episode. Look up the Christmas Jones robot chicken sequence on the YouTubes. You will thank me later.
Yes, yes. And there you have it. The world is not enough.
And boy, it was certainly enough of this movie.
Indeed. But all in all, yeah, I would happen to agree with you. It actually felt better than I thought it was going to feel watching it.
Yeah, definitely. I felt like I said, it kept my interest because of the fact that I didn't really know who the bad guy was. Mm-hmm. I was kept in suspense enough to want to follow the plot rather than just go, how long do we get to the next cool stunt? Okay. Right. So also shot really nicely. As you pointed out in the last episode, music really good.
Yes. And can I just say, like, shout out to women in this movie, because I feel like half the time women are saving this movie from being campy and cliche. Mm-hmm. Because you've got Elektra King, who is a great villain, who actually comes off as a compelling villain who isn't just somebody with an eye deformity or a bullet in her brain or whatever, and she doesn't talk weird or say kill Bond or anything strange like that. She's actually smart and capable, and she's manipulating everybody around her. And then you've got M, who all of the quips that she says work, and it's largely because you have no choice but to write her well.
Yeah, because it's Judi Dench.
It's Dame Judi friggin' Dench.
That's right.
So you have to. And the only one who's not written well is Christmas Jones.
Yeah, but I mean, she does an admirable job of pushing the torpedo room button to the airlock as needed. And you know what? We said it in part one. It was more her situational area than anything else.
Yes.
She's fine when she's in her wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. If they had tailored this to be more in her wheelhouse, she probably would have been fine too.
This is another case of UA, United Artists, coming in and saying, we want this.
Right.
You're going to shoehorn this stupid character into our movie.
Right.
And hope for the best.
Yeah. I'll tell you, the Christmas Jones movie would be fantabulous.
It'd be amazing.
I'd go see that even now.
I would see sequels of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if it was straight to streaming. But I don't know about you, but I think we've said pretty much all we can say.
Yeah, I think we have said...
About the world is not enough.
I think we said enough about the world is not enough.
Indeed. But, as always, we are always looking for listener interaction. So let us know what you thought of this movie. Let us know what you thought of our review of this movie.
Let us know what you think about what the capital V Syria is, or maybe what your favorite color is.
Indeed. Tell us all the things. But get in touch with us. On email, it's cicdeaddrop@gmail.com. On Instagram, it's Central Intelligence Cinema, separated by underscores. Or on Twitter, it's @CIC Spy Pod. And we're on Facebook. So look us up there, too. And also, if you do enjoy the podcast, we'd love it if you would give us a glowing, wonderful review. Because, as we all know, these things help. So
we want those reviews to glow like a rod of plutonium in a nuclear submarine.
That's right. So please, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, please give us a good 5-star review, because it lets our show get seen faster when people are looking for this sort of silly spy shit.
Amen.
But with that, I'm Ben.
And I'm Jason.
And the CIC will return with more missions, more martinis,
and more mayhem.
And a little bit of caviar.
Sour cream, anyone?